Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back with another early access title. Today we're taking a look at New Arc Line, a CRPG that reminded me a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 with a more modern steampunk setting. But older gamers finally refer to this as a spiritual successor to Arcanum. I want to give a shout out to the developers for supplying this channel with a key. Now, I'm aware that this is an early access title, but the purpose of this video is to inform you of what's currently being sold, and this feels like it's still in the very early stages of development. As of right now, only Act 1 is available, and the character creation is bare bones. You only have two classes to choose from, Diesel Engineer and Voodoo Shaman, along with 3 subclasses. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the bad as always for full transparency. Overall, this game's visuals can be pretty jarringly inconsistent at times, with random dips in image quality, characters consistently sliding in and out of focus, a flickering film grain, and many other visual glitches plaguing the overall experience. Depending on your settings, things can look even worse. Anything under high settings for anti-aliasing look blurry, jittery, and washed out. Now from my experience, the visuals took a pretty massive hit when I would go any lower than the high settings, so be sure that you can actually run this game well above the minimum requirements before you buy it. The overall performance and optimization is also insanely inconsistent here. I noticed random dips in the frame rate frequently, and as I got deeper into the story, it gradually worsened, sometimes happening in the exact same location where I previously had no issues. This honestly goes across the board. The further you get into this game's story, the more it begins to unravel, with various glitches and frequent crashes. When it comes to the story, the writing can be a bit inconsistent also. The prologue and introduction here are both disappointing. Now, developers have clarified that the story here is a placeholder, but I'm reviewing what's currently available now. After creating your character, you're thrown into what I'm guessing is the middle of the game, where your past actions have had severe consequences, and you're literally judged and questioned about crimes you as the player know nothing about. They should have spent this time familiarizing you with your character's backstory and the lore of the game world, instead of exposition dumping for a future pre-established plotline. This is all a bit more disappointing for a game that's supposed to be offering multiple choices and endings within its story. Even when the game finally does start, very little is explained about the backstory of your character, and even though this game has multiple choices with branching paths, the opening hours still feel very linear. Lastly, side quests and the vast majority of NPCs in this game do not currently have voice actors, and even though this has been announced for PlayStation 5, there is currently no controller support, and you can only move your character with mouse clicks. This wouldn't be too much of a problem if the camera was better and there weren't so many glitches with the pathfinding that led to you getting stuck in and on top of objects frequently. Alright, now let's transition to the good. The visuals in certain locations were actually quite impressive. There are a number of places where the game engine seems to be able to produce some visually stunning levels and environments. I was also pleasantly surprised with the integration of the dice-based chance system here. It's effortlessly interwoven into the choices and much faster than what I experienced in Baldur's Gate 3. Here the results are almost instantaneous, maintaining a more organic pace throughout every interaction. In addition to this, you're able to approach skill checks as a party and use any of your 3 companion specialties. When it comes to the gameplay, everything that you would expect from a CRPG seems to be here. Now, I only played as a Diesel Engineer. I did not really get too much into the magic aside from one of my companions. But the more modern weapons and equipment like the guns, grenades, and jetpacks, along with various other forms of technology, were a nice change of pace from the norms of this genre. Now, this is only the first 10 hours of the game, so I'm not entirely sure how much deeper this gets, but what's here so far is good for an introduction. And despite its rough start and occasional hiccups, there is a decent story here. The world is split into 2 factions, magic versus technology, and choosing between the 2 factions is one of the main plot points. The more you help either side, the stronger their influence becomes in the game world. In addition to increasing your strength, siding with either faction also presents you with morally ambiguous choices that add to the game's replayability. You also have 3 companions with different mysterious backstories, all interwoven into the main plot, that will agree or disagree with your actions and choices based on their alliance to either faction. You're actually presented with these options fairly early into the game when you direct a pro or anti-magic play or choose to repair or ignore a magic detector. The bulk of this game is navigating these choices, and most of them come with a decent amount of unique outcomes that all have their own branching paths. Some of the events and areas are also exclusively accessible to each faction. And alongside all of this is the mysterious deadly virus known as the Iron Plague, an epidemic that is devastating both factions. The Iron Plague is an incurable terminal illness that causes the infected to sprout growths made of iron onto their skin and organs. Overall, this game has a good amount of content with some solid writing and surprisingly compelling side quests that present you with morally gray situations. While there are also a number of cliches here and there, this game does a good job of continuously throwing you a curveball and encouraging you to dig deeper beyond the surface level of how things may initially appear. This is almost masterfully illustrated in the multiple different outcomes for the majority of the side quests. Things are rarely ever black and white here. In closing, the side quests were easily my favorite thing about this game. I found myself more interested in those stories than the main plot, and while I did enjoy my time with this game overall, in its current state I can only recommend this to hardcore fans of the genre. I suggest everyone else wait for a sale or major update, whichever one comes first. The game still needs a lot more work, and there is a lot here that feels unfinished and underdeveloped. I ran into so many issues that forced me to reload my previous save, and most of these issues happened consecutively. And then you also have a lot of smaller glitches that compound, like for example, I encountered a lot of unresponsive controls. Now this is only 20, so I believe the defining factor for most players is going to be your love of the setting and the story, but if you like what you saw, be sure to check this out. I found myself liking this game the more I played it, and the cliffhanger it ended on left me eagerly awaiting the next major update. I actually think that this is going to be a very good game when it finally does release. It's just so early in development right now that I think a lot of people would prefer to wait. Y'all let me know what y'all think of the video, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with another one. Peace.
Before you stands a freakish oddity in trousers and suspenders. It's either a tall dwarf sporting elf ears or a portly greenish human. The creature looks a lot like a gremlin, but 3 times bigger than normal and 4 times wider. It's totally unprecedented for a magical being to have a position of authority in a tech facility.
Ah, hello there. Welcome to my establishment. You can address me as Mr. Gregan. Yes, Igor Gregan. I'm the manager of this little place.
Manager? You? You swine! You're the one behind our supply issues, aren't you? You've got 60 seconds. Talk.
Ah, my dear lady. Let us converse like proper beings. Ask away, and I shall answer. Yes.